Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking, our weekly public speaking call. And it is almost Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a day of love. I mean, I don't care if it's it used to be like thought of for couples love, but it's God's love, it's animal love, it's all love, all love. How can you separate? It's just love is love, right? And so in with that in mind, we want to always love on our audience and we always want to show them love, pour into them love, and of course, they will love us back. And so today's topic is heart-centered speaking. How do you really get there into the heart and really speak from it? And we've talked about this a little bit here and a little bit there. We've talked about it with a story, opening the hearts of your listeners with a story and all of that. But I just want to give you some guidelines for how you can really open the hearts of your listeners. All right, open the hearts of your listeners, because if the hearts aren't open, they're not listening. If the hearts don't open, the ears don't open. If the heart doesn't open, the pocketbook doesn't open. So we want to make sure that we're opening their heart. So I'm going to give you 7 ways to do that. Now, the first thing, and this might surprise you a little bit, don't speak in your speaker voice. You want to speak like a human. You want to speak in your voice. So, what does that mean? A lot of times, and I've done it for years, and I try not to do it anymore, but you get on stage and you get into this speaker mode, right? And you start using your speaker voice, and it's eloquent and powerful and loud and everything it should be, right? Energetic. But when we want to open the hearts, we really have to be genuine. Now, I think I mentioned last week I'm coaching this guy to win a Toastmaster contest, and I've toasted him for years. No, I've coached him for years on different speeches. And every single time he comes to me, he already has a speech. And I'm like, you, you need to come to me before it's even written, right? Because he's got it memorized. He owns it. And then the second thing he does is he gets in the speaker voice, right? And it's always da 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 da. He's got a pattern. Da 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 da, right? That's not going to open anybody's heart, much less win any contest. But it's really hard to break when you're in there. So you have to hear yourself, video record yourself, um, tape yourself, record yourself. We never say tape or videotape your dating yourself. So I have to be very careful not to do that. So listen, because what you first thing you just have to drop that speaker voice and really speak like a human, speak like yourself. Now you can still speak loud, doesn't mean you go low, but be yourself and use your regular voice. You won't know what I'm talking about unless you hear yourself. You hear yourself and go, oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I've got that. I put on this voice. Or listen to other people when they talk. When they talk normal, then introduce them, they get on stage. Do they change their voice? Are they putting their performance, voice on and their performance act on? If so, you know what I'm talking about. Number two, let them feel you. Let them feel you before they understand you. Let them feel you before they understand you. Let them feel your love. Let them feel your energy. Let them feel whatever it is you're trying to get them to feel. If it's sadness, if it's sorrow, if it's hope, whatever it is, let them feel it. So let them feel it before they necessarily understand it or understand you or where you're at, right? So people do not open their hearts to ideas, they open their hearts to emotion. Emotion, your emotion, right? So, Tommy, you do this really good when you tell that story about grace. I've heard that story about probably 5 times now, but man, it gets me in the heart every single time you say it. And it's because of the way you say it, right? And how you've set it up, and your voice is natural, and we can feel your pain. We can feel it. And then you turn, I mean, we just can feel, I can picture the whole thing every single time. And then you reach out and just ask a nurse, what is your name? And she tells you. Heartfelt. Every time. See, I'm bawling in the audience every single time, and I know what's coming. But the way you tell it, just amazing. We can feel you. We can feel the emotion. You might not understand what's going on or what you're going to say next, but we get how you're feeling, and we feel your pain. And then we feel your triumph after you ask for her name. Beautiful story. Whew. And you've done this well too, Tommy. Number 3, tell the story. And I've said this before. Tell the story you're afraid to tell. Tell the story you're afraid to tell. In other words, the vulnerability story. Now, doesn't mean that you're going to, and see, remember also, I've always said you've got to heal off stage before you come on stage and tell that story as you're vulnerable. And Tommy, you've clearly done that. You've healed so that you can come on stage, and who's crying? Not you, but us. Because you're brave. You're showing your bravery. I'm so glad you're here today that I can use this. I use you as an example because it's perfect examples. Tell the story you're afraid to tell. Tell the story you don't want to tell. Tell the story. I mean, of course, God has to move you to tell it, but it's like God's telling you to tell the story, and you're going, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Maybe later, God. I'm not right now. I'm not ready, right? That's the story you need to tell. That's the one that's going to get you the standing ovation that we talked about. That's the one that's going to open the hearts that we talked about. That's the one that's going to sell the books. That's going to get you more speaking engagements. And it's not easy, but each and every one of you has a story that you're afraid to tell. When you're ready, I'm not saying do it if you're not ready. I'm not saying that. I'm saying pray about it, get ready, and if God is telling you to move on it, you move. And no, we're all here to support you. And you'll see it's not as bad as you thought. See, we only fear what we don't know. And we're afraid that the audience won't accept us, or we're afraid of judgment. We're afraid they'll judge us. Well, guess what? And I know, Jackie, you're here. You're at this point. You come to a point where you don't care anymore, right, Jackie? It's like, it's like I've lived my life. I've lived good. And you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. Jackie,
No,
come.
no peer pressure.
So at some point you might reach that and share your story. Whatever it is, just think about it, pray about it, and when you're ready, God will be there holding you up, supporting you, telling your story, and letting you know it's going to be okay. You won't get any backlash. Yes, Tommy.
It took me 6 years to share what I shared at the event. 6 years. I just couldn't talk about it for a long time. It was too painful.
Right,
And I was afraid of the reaction I might get from people.
right. And it still is painful. It still is. We can see it. But at least you can do it now and be vulnerable, and we benefit. We benefit. We're not in judgment. We benefit from it because we see how good God is, and how such a strong faith you have in God. And we're like, man, and I complained to God about, such and such, and here you are. I'm like, holy cow, right? Shame on me. You're so brave, Tommy, so courageous. I'm so proud of you. So tell the story. You all know what story it is because it's not going to be your most polished story that's going to open their hearts. It's going to be the one that's the most honest. And when I teach you these things, I'm talking to myself too. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to me. I'm pretty open, but there's things I don't share, right? So I'm not, I'm in the same boat all of you are. But tell the story. But I've told a lot of stories that were scared. So I'm a little more maybe, used to doing it than you. But hey, we all have stories we're afraid to tell. Number 4. And we've talked about this. It's not new, but it's important. If we want to open the hearts, make your message about them and not about you. And I said that about testimonials as well as any other time you're speaking. Make it about your audience. Yes, we're going to tell our story, but we're going to do it in a way, not that we're wallowing, but in a way that gives them hope, or a way that like they don't have to go through what we've gone through. I'm showing you the landmine mines and speaking, so you don't have to step in them and get blown up like I did. So make it about them. So, and you could do it. Here's some lines that you can use too that really help. Words like you might know what I mean. You might have this same feeling. You might have felt like I did. That kind of thing. Maybe this has happened to you. Maybe the same thing has happened to you that's just happened to me. That way we kind of include them in our story. And a lot of times they go, yeah, that is me, or you're talking to me. How many of you have ever gone to a speech and that that speaker is talking right to you, right? Immediately. Thanks, Ramona. Yeah. I mean, it's like you look around like, what did I do? Why are you, picking on me, or why are you talking to me? It's like there's 1,000 other people here in this room, but they're talking directly to you. And when they look at you, it's even more scary, right? It's like, wait a minute. I've had that happen. Okay, number 5. And this is a big one. Number 5. Pause and let your audience do the work. A lot of us tend to just want to fill the air, like blah, 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 blah. And when we say important things, we don't give the audience a chance to not only pause and hear them, but pause and visualize them. That's what's so great, Tommy, how you tell that story, because you are choked up and you pause, right? Oh, Jackie had to go because she has to go pick up her dog. She told me earlier, her little dog Rebel. So keep praying for him. That's the glory of God. I mean, he knows every hair on every dog's, body, not just every feather on every bird, but every hair. So we know when we pray for little Rebel that God hears us, because dogs are like us, are just as significant in his kingdom. So never discount praying for any living creature that God has created. So I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm talking to myself. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about pausing. So Tommy, you do a great job when you pause and we feel what you're feeling in that moment, and then you turn to her and ask her. And you're still pausing here and there. What is your name? You didn't say, what is your name? And she answered, what? You're like, what is your name? And there's a pause. It's a beautiful pause. And then you slowly say, my name is, right? Beautiful work of the pause. So practice that. When you're using the pauses in your speech, you have to practice them in. They have to be dramatic. Of course, they can't look like a practice. You can't look like, and then you stop, and then you start. It's got to, the whole thing has to be, smooth, and you have to practice the way, the tone, the speed at which you speak, and then comes the pause. Ah, so nice. Now, silence, remember, is where the emotion lands. So when Tommy stops, that's when the emotion, we get overcome with emotion. That's when it lands inside of us. That's when our hearts are opened and filled with this emotion. It's that pause that does it. Now, when you're telling a story and you feel something, and again, I have to say, I'm so glad Tommy's here because he's perfect example. We can see him feeling. He goes back there. And that's what's so beautiful about that story. He goes right back where it is. We can see him feeling it. We can see his bravery by trying to overcome those feelings. So guess what? When he feels it, we feel it. Now, if he just told that story matter of fact, we wouldn't feel anything. And that's what happened to a client of mine named Angela. Ramona, are we keeping you up? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you okay, honey? Are you in your car? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. Well, you're still muted, but we can see that you're in your car. Okay. So a client of mine, Angela, I used to see her speak. She's the CBP member, for those of you that know CBP, Christian Business Partner Networking Group. And so she was a member, and she would go around speaking, and I would listen to her speak, and nothing, right? And she would be talking about how her husband, she was in the service in Japan, and her husband had an accident with their two boys, and they died. And she had no reaction, like they're 8 years old, 8 and 7. I'm like, what is going on? So we talked, and she came to me. She joined my mastermind program, my year-long program, and we worked on her speech. See, she didn't know how any longer to be connected to the speech, and therefore nobody else could get connected. She was desensitized. Now, whether she did it on purpose or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is what came out when she spoke. She didn't know how to get reconnected with her own feelings about losing her two sons, boom, at once. Story is really not about that. It's about her finding letters that they each of them wrote, that the Holy Spirit spoke to them, and had them each individually, separately write goodbye letters. Whew, I just got chills. But see, leading up to that's no good if you don't have some emotion about what happened to them in the first place. So we worked on it, right? And then she joined me on my stage one day. And one of my friends is a movie producer, and he was there. And he signed her for a movie, a documentary, after hearing her story on stage. That's the power. Now, I didn't do that. God did all that. God arranged it. I'm not even trying to take any credit. I'm just saying that's what happens when you get connected to your story and you feel things and make your audience feel things. So don't be afraid to share that story because you're afraid you might show things or show your vulnerability. That's exactly what you want to do. As long as you don't lose control. I've seen people lose control, and it's because they're not healed yet. You've got Tommy confessed 6 years it took him before he could share that story because he probably would have been a blubbering idiot on stage. And that's what happens to people if you're not ready. I have seen it. And then once they start crying, then they're crying because they were crying. Then they cry because they're embarrassed. And then it doesn't stop. And, then the audience is just, like that. We're not crying anymore because they're crying in our place. So be healed and be ready before you ever try this on stage. And once you're ready, then feel it again and let us feel it with you. Got it? When I say got it, you say got it, I say good. Got it?
Got it.
Good. All right, last one, I believe. Here, I got to look at my notes for a second. Okay. All right, let's see. Number 7. Oh, no, number 6. Stop trying to be liked and start trying to be true. A lot of times we speak on stage, we want everybody to like us. I know I do. We want to connect and be friends with 100% of the audience, and that's never going to happen. There's always going to be 25% of the audience that doesn't like you, believe in you, trust you, whatever it might be. Either they're having a bad day, or they're in a bad place, or they're just not the same vibe, whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to figure it out. Just know that's going to happen and let it go. Too many times speakers force themselves upon people that don't like them, and they spend all their time trying to get those few to like them, that they lose the rest of the audience that loved them in the first place. So don't spend any time on that, trying to get people to like. Just start being true. The moment you start releasing that truth about you is the moment those people that do like you will love you. And that's what you want to have happen. Number 7, end with hope and not hype. End with hope and not hype. That's why a lot of times when I coach people on their memorable statement, and like one guy said, "Oh, if you want the best, hire the man with the vest." That's hype, as opposed to some of the other ones that we've talked about that you've learned over the years. But don't make it about you. Again, at the ending, if you're going to give your audience hope, it needs to be about them. You've showed them where you've come, which gives them hope. And now you want to give them that final words of hope that they can do it too. Right? So whether it's in your last final story, in your your memorable statement, wherever you might put it, you want to give them hope, not hype. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. And that's how, in honor of Valentine's Day, how you open their hearts and how you practice heart-centered speaking. All right?
Arvee,
Yes.
could you repeat those again?
Okay, sure. Okay, so number 1, drop the speaker voice.
Oh.
Drop the speaker voice. That kind of voice, and just be yourself. Use your own different tonality and speed. Just be yourself. Don't we've all heard speaker voices, believe me. Okay, number 2, let them feel you before they understand you.
Mm-hmm.
Let them feel you before they understand you. Number 3, tell the story you're afraid to tell. Tell the story you're afraid to tell. Make it about, number 4, make it about them, not you.
Okay.
5, pause and let silence do the work. I love that one. Let the silence of the moment, because that's where they're going to feel. That's where the emotion is going to stick. And number 6, stop trying to be liked and start trying to be true and honest and vulnerable. Number 7, end with hope, not hype.
And okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other comments or questions? I know we're a little over time. What are we? Yeah, no, we're not. We have a minute or two. Any other questions or comments before we wrap up our call? Tommy.
I'd say the biggest revelation to me is point 5. that I learned to do in my talks, because the pause, yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. And my early talks, there wasn't a lot of pausing, but this past year, I've learned the value of the pause.
Mhm. Beautiful. Tommy, I know we talked a lot about your speech, and a lot of people here have not heard it. Would you be willing to come next week and share your, maybe 15,
Sure,
20 minutes of it
sure,
so
sure,
they know what we're talking about?
sure.
It's that powerful. I love it. I didn't want to give it away when I was sharing pieces of it. I didn't want to give it away because I wanted to invite you to speak it next week. That'll be a treat. Don't miss it, ladies, because it's going to be a real treat. Okay, great. Katrina, did you have Tanya?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes.
do that and Tommy took it out of my mouth, but that's exactly the pause. I'd never paused before. I was just blah, and I learned about the pause. Oh wow, that's powerful. You say something, you just pause. So yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
I'd like you
And
to do a class on RV one time in the future. Is you know I need to I would love you to teach how, let's say you have your speech, you already have your speech, you already know your speech, you already have it. I like to see maybe in a Zoom or in writing how you outline that so you're not just writing your whole speech out, even when you're practicing. I still have a tendency to want to write everything out, even when I'm practicing. And so I need to get better at that.
uh-huh. Well, the short answer to that, and we can certainly have a more of a workshopy class on it, but the short answer is, you have your formula, attention grabber, right? You know what that is, that's memorized. You can either write it in there or not. Then
Mm-hmm.
you have your welcome. You know what that is. For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you blank, right? And then you've got your thank you. You have to write in your thank you, how you're going to thank the audience? No, just the words thank you let you know that when you're there, you go, heartfelt thank you. However, whatever you're feeling in that moment. And then it's your meat, right? Or your
That's,
story. You don't have
that's
to
the
write your,
problem on.
story.
Mhm.
So the only thing you're really outlining is the meat. And what is that outline? Like Jackie said, the word release. That's it. You know, REL, whatever. Because you should know already what the R stands for and the E stands for and the D stands or the L stands for. You don't have to write it out. You know your stuff.
Well, that's if you'd use a sentiment, whatever you call it. That's if you do
Synonym.
winner or whatever that is. But what if you don't have the acronym like wealth, or you're not doing an acronym and you're giving a point?
Then it's 1, 2, 3. And the point is, and I have my points, pause and let the audience do the work. Okay, so I wrote that out. But then I know what to talk about.
So you write out pause and let the audience do the work, but then you ad lib. You don't write everything you're going to say for that because you should know what you want to say.
Correct. Or about what you want to say. And if I want to add a little story, like someone's story in there, I'll just say like Hector's story and circle it. I don't have to write out his story. I just have to jog my memory. Oh yeah, I want to put Hector's story right here. It's literally an outline, which is just very few words.
Right, right.
Yeah, that'll keep you from getting stuck. It'll keep you from going over. It'll keep you live and present. It'll keep you in your own voice. It'll keep you vulnerable. It'll keep you ready if someone raises their hand and says they have a question. It keeps you ready in case the Holy Spirit says, I want you to tell this story. But if it's all juggled up like and memorized in here, you have no room for any of it. And you've been getting by with it, my friend, because you've been on Zoom. But there's time now. You got to step out from behind this camera.
I'm going on vacation.
There we go. Yeah.
Dana stepped out. She stepped out already. Yes. Luana's leaving. Okay. So it's time. Okay, Tommy's going. Okay, well, we'll end our call today. Again, Tommy, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
So
All right?
RV, I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
So
Anybody
I
else?
know it's
Oh, I'll see you next week. Yes, Colleen.
yeah, so I know it's according to the type of speech that you're talking about or sharing, but like ending, like my ending was if anything I've said have inspired you, please come and talk to me. I'm right over here. So is that an ending with hope?
That's not an ending. That's your invitation. Don't get them mixed up.
Okay, that's the invitation.
Your
Okay.
ending is your memorable statement. So, what is your memorable statement?
My memorable statement is remember your past does not dictate your future.
Does that give people hope?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Okay, so that's always the ending. Okay.
Yes, it's perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Katrina, did you have a question?
Oh, I was just a comment when you said that 25% of the people won't like you. That was kind of shocking. How do you know they don't like you?
Well, you don't, but just know that they may not agree with you. They're not gonna come and buy from you. They're not gonna, yeah, they probably won't buy from you. Is probably the best way to get it, to know it. But and again, that's just a rough estimate. It's like the
Mhm.
bell curve, right? And everybody in the middle will love you, but the people on the end of the bell curve won't. I mean, it's
Yes.
psychology. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So just don't spend time with the people that if you sense they're not getting it or they're not taking notes, right?
Mhm.
Wasting time on them. I used to, I used
Mhm.
to start writing notes and I'd like, well, you're not writing notes. You need, and it's like, no, who cares? You don't care. They listen the way they listen or don't listen. I mean, I would have people when I taught corporate to be like this, and I knew
Mhm.
that they didn't want to be there. That,
Okay.
you know, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Bye,
You're welcome.
everybody.
All right,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you. We'll see you
Okay.
next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.